Hello, and welcome to the weekly update for Friday, March 19th of 2021. And just want to say thank you for joining me as I just provide some quick updates today on our COVID numbers in Livingston County and throughout the state. And I'm going to just spend a little time on spring break, hence the tropical background, as I think we're all looking forward to a nice break. And I know some people are going to be traveling, so I want to talk a little bit about that and just briefly talk about the end of the school year and just in terms of our calendar, because I've got some questions. And so hopefully it'll be relatively short. But once again, thank you for just carving out a little bit of time in your Friday or maybe throughout your weekend to just stay on top of things here as we continue to work through the school year. And today marks the end of the third quarter. 75% of our school year is done. We roughly have about 9-10 weeks left. And that's just awesome. And like anything in life, it seems like although it's been a challenge, it's also goes by quick as we're been extremely busy here. And so once again, looking forward to ending the school year strong and continuing to doing all the right things in terms of keeping our students and staff safe here at school and providing the educational experience to our PBA students at home and also our face-to-face. And we know we have some students returning after spring break from PBA to face-to-face, so we're excited about that. And once again, thank you for the tremendous amount of support as we have continued to work throughout the school year. So on that note, let's get started with our COVID update here in Livingston County. And I'm sure you've been hearing on our local news, the state of Michigan has been experiencing an increase, and we've seen that here in Livingston County. Actually, I think our rates have doubled in a week. And a lot of that's due those 2 weeks that I've been sharing that information that we've had kind of a surge here in Pinckney. We knew those rates are going to come up as a result of that. And as this morning I checked, it's 8.3%, definitely higher than what we want to see. But we're really paying attention to the trend, and we're hoping that it's going to once again kind of plateau a little bit. I'm going to show you just the MyStart map here in just a second. The state of Michigan actually is at 6.2%. That doubled as well. It was about 3.1 just about a week ago. So we're seeing that trend. We're not seeing those trends everywhere throughout this country, but Michigan is one of those. And you'll hear talk about the variants. There is no, evidence in Livingston County that this is a result of variants. My guess is, once again, as I said last week, that's my hunch, because not everybody's testing for those variances. And so I don't have that hard data from the health department to say, yes, it is due in part to the variants. But I definitely think that what we're hearing and what we're seeing, most likely that is what's been occurring, because it seems like some of the spread has been quicker than what we've experienced before. We're still not seeing transmissions here at school, so I'm thankful for that. What we are seeing is, once again, social aspects that things are happening outside, and we're also seeing an uptick in athletics across the board. And this isn't just here in Pinckney, but throughout the county. And this isn't just school-related athletics. We're seeing things from community-based athletics. Obviously, especially with spring starting up, we're seeing more and more instances of that. So, we're handling that with the guidance of MHSAA and through the CDC and through the health department. And continuing to do everything we can to keep our student athletes safe, competing, because we know how important that is, and we're going to continue working through that process. So as I stated, I'm going to share my screen just really quick here. I haven't put up the MyStart map in a few weeks, and I just want to show the cases per million, because once again, there is definitely concern that the rates have increased here in the last few weeks. But in perspective, it's also important to know that what we're seeing is not comparable to what we experienced back in November and December. And that's what you're seeing here in this large spike, this uptick that I have there is November 20th. So you can see this rate that we experienced here, and what we're currently experiencing. You can see this is a nice dip where things kind of went down significantly, and we're seeing this gradual uptick, but we're not seeing anything near what we experienced back in November and December. So definitely concerning. It just warrants and reinforces our need to make sure we keep our protocols in place. We're washing our hands, we're wearing our masks, we're using sanitizer, we're self-monitoring, because we want to continue opening things up as quickly as we can, and we're able to provide as many activities to our students, especially towards the end of the year. And we don't want to experience any kind of closure or situations where we can't do what we want to do for our students. And so Just still a lot of work. We're going to progress for the rest of the year with all our safety protocols. But once again, this is a community effort. School cannot do this by ourselves. We need to work in partnership with everybody in our community. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing because I just wanted to pop that up there real quick. Let's see here. In terms of Pinckney Community Schools, we had 3 positive COVID cases, all high school related situations, and students, and some definitely related to athletics. We had no staff, which is great. This is definitely a significant decrease of what we have been experiencing in the numbers that I've shared once again in the last 2 weeks. The number of quarantine last week, I mentioned it was 320, highest we've seen all year. Majority of those students who all come off the quarantine list are back in the classroom, which is great. I think right now we're probably between 20 and 30. We actually are updating that today because some of them are coming off today. So that's work we're gonna be doing, but we feel confident that that quarantine list is really minimal. Once again, back to where it was just about 3-4 weeks ago, between 20 and 30 students. So that's what we want to see happening, especially as we close out next week and we head into spring break. And so that's what I want to just talk to you a little bit about right now. And, once again, here in Michigan, the winters can be rough. We've actually had a pretty good winter and a really nice early spring as well. But especially with COVID, we're all itching to just get out, be outside. I know people are traveling to Florida, down south. And, obviously there's a lot of talk and concern about that. We've seen pictures of colleges and some of the activities down there in some of our southern states. And so I just want to share information that we received from the health department, just recommendations. This comes from the CDC as well. Obviously you're traveling, just be mindful of where you're traveling. There are kind of quote unquote hot spots around the country. You can pull that up on CDC websites and just be aware. What we ask people to do is just, once again, practice the safety protocols, even when you're not here with us in the Pinckney area, and continue to participate in washing hands, sanitizing, keeping distance as much as you can. But if you are traveling, what the health department has requested is that you consider your getting tested upon return, especially if you're in those areas that are quote unquote hotspots. Is that before students return to school or maybe you return back to work, is to just get tested, just to reinforce that you're okay, that you're healthy and you're safe. You definitely want to make sure that you're self-monitoring when you get back, continue taking your fevers, monitoring, if you have any kind of cold-like symptoms, things of that sort. And definitely stay home if you're feeling any of those COVID symptoms that we've all grown accustomed to and know also well. Now, obviously, if you are traveling internationally, and I really don't know a whole lot of people doing that, the recommendation is really you need to quarantine 10 days upon return is what the recommendation is what we're asking. And we're asking that, and we have followed that as well. We have had a couple families have to travel international for family reasons throughout this pandemic. And we did ask them to quarantine as well. And those are CDC guidelines that we're asking. So I don't think we're going to have a lot of that. I know a lot of people are, the usual the Floridas and just down south, Carolinas, things of that sort. Enjoying my favorite vacation, the beach and the ocean. But so if you are returning, once again, just be mindful of that. If you can, maybe get tested before, once again, if you're coming back to school or to work. And just we just want everybody to be safe, because when we get back, we got a lot to do in this last quarter. To high school, we have SAT testing, we have PSAT testing, and we want minimal quarantine, minimal COVID situations just to get those processes. We are going to be moving forward with those assessments, SAT, PSAT, and so we have that to look forward to very shortly after returning from spring break. And so the more healthy kids and adults that we have here, the better that process is going to be. Now, I do want to state that with vaccines coming out, and I pulled this from CDC guidelines as well, and this is for staff, this is for adults as well. If you are fully vaccinated, I mean you've got both doses and you've received 2 doses, 2 weeks after you were administered that second dose, you do not need to quarantine if you traveled internationally. They're saying that, once again, it's 2 weeks after that second dose, which I think most of our staff, if they get that second dose, just I think almost 2-3 weeks ago now, by the time spring break or we return back from spring break, that would fit in that window. So that is a guideline that they're saying that you don't need to quarantine if you do travel internationally, if you've gotten both doses and it's been 2 weeks after that last dose. So just want to put that out there as well. Uh, yeah, I'm excited for families to get away or just be like me. Just I'm staying in the area, staying with my family, probably working a little bit, but just enjoying just a little bit of downtime, and hopefully the weather will be nice here in Michigan as well, just to get outside. So, lastly, let me just wrap up. Last day of school. Our last day of school is June 11th, and if you haven't seen the calendar, we were wrapping up the school year with 2 half days. That's June 10th, which was Thursday, then June 11th, which is Friday. And we do half days because generally we have final exams at the high school. We're just getting grades. There's a lot going on. But obviously, with COVID and even with virtual Fridays, things are a little bit different. If you remember back in January when we had midwinter or the mid-year and end of the semester, we modified our schedule a little bit. We moved a half day, which was on Friday, and made it a full day on Thursday, and students didn't have to attend school asynchronously at home on that Friday. I had some parents ask, "Hey, are we doing the same thing?" Within the year, we had some staff, and we definitely looked into it. But because of the standard of having to have 180 days of school, and that's really not negotiable, we cannot move any days. So even half days suffice as a full day of school when you're counting days. So that Thursday, the 10th of June, is 179 days, and that Friday is our 180th day. So we can't move that to Thursday and call it good because we would be short a day. And if you're short, then that impacts your funding. And obviously that's just not an option for us. So what the good news is, we have checked because we worried that if we may have had to have students attend physically on Friday to count that as a day of school. But we can keep that last day on Friday, the 11th of June, a virtual day. And we know that it's the last day of school. Students, especially here, the students at school, are going to already turn in their computers. We are going to have a process for PVA students that'll be that following week. So we know that doing schoolwork on that Friday is going to be really challenging. But the goal for us is to make sure all the work that we have is completed before then, and we have verified it through our county pupil accounting person that can count for 180th day of school. So students will not have to report on that day. There's not going to be a lot of expectations virtually because we'll take care of everything prior to that day. So in essence, that 10th will be our last physical day that students will be here for those face-to-face students. And so, but from a management standpoint and a reporting standpoint, that Friday, the 11th, will be our 180th day of school, but it's asynchronous for everybody. So, so I just want to share that news because I know people are planning. Some folks ask me because they have daycare. That Thursday, the 10th, will still be a half day. We don't need to make that a full day. It still counts for a full day of school. So that will be a half day. So I know students or parents may have to get some childcare for students in the afternoon of Thursday, June 10th. So just wanted to share that information for planning purposes. I'm going to wrap things up here. So once again, thank you. Hopefully, maybe in a week or so, some of you are going to be somewhere where there's a palm tree, some crashing waves behind you. I'm envious because once again, that's my dream vacation. That's what my family likes to do. And so enjoy it. Have a great time. Be safe. We're looking forward to having everybody back here. Once again, it's the rest of the year. We know we get spring break goes very quick as we got a lot of things going on, wrapping the school year up and helping our students, our staff continue to be safe and successful for the fourth quarter. So thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's going to be a great weekend outside here in Michigan. And I'll look forward to just touching base with you really quick next week before we go to spring break. And then we'll see you after that. So, all right. Take care, everybody. And let's go Pirates.